Hello friends and enemies, welcome back to Happy For Now. It's me, Isabel, here with my Kindle Unlimited Check-in, the first one in a while. So I like to do these once I have 10 to 12, 15-ish books I've read off KU. And I'm gonna be honest, lately I have not been prioritizing my KU reads. I have been very much an audiobook reader, and that means this has taken me a while to come back to. So if you're new here, this video I will talk about all the books I've checked out from KU right now, which is 19 books. I have 19 books. And I will talk about the 12 books I have read from KU right now. So we're gonna do that, and it's gonna be a good time. Hopefully I've got some in here that you maybe haven't heard of, and hopefully you've got some for me in the comments that I should check out. So first things first, we're gonna go through all of my checked out ones. I'll have timestamps down below if you want to skip ahead to a certain section. Feel free to do so. These are the newest to oldest checkouts. So we have Carnage, which is book 1 in the Four Horsemen by Sarah Bailey. I picked this up because I saw a couple TikToks where people liked it and recommended it, and I figured I would give it a try. This one is a why choose romance based on the Four Horsemen. A childhood friend who vanishes and comes back but doesn't remember the connection she has with these 4 men in total, like the full extent of their connection. Very curious to see where this goes. It sounds right up my alley as far as how dark romance, Four Horsemen, like that sort of mix. Sounds like something I would love, so we'll see. Then I have East Coast Carnal Cryptids by Vera Valentine. This is another paranormal romance why choose that features a dive bar situation, and I think this one, this girl goes on a date with a guy who's already dating 2 guys from this bar. You know, I'm just curious. Most of my friends that have read this loved it, so I feel like I'm also going to enjoy it. When I picked up Cleo Evans, I was thinking of this series also, so I'm happy I picked up the Cleo Evans. We'll talk about that later, but this is one of the ones that I thought I was picking up and then quickly realized, no, I picked up the wrong series, because sometimes the brain works, sometimes the brain doesn't work. Then we have Can't Catch Me by Alexandria Warren. As we're moving into fall, I'm wanting to read some sports romances. That's usually what I read to them. This book is Black Love. I'm 99% positive. Has a former best friend and he's a football player. That's all I need. That's like all I need to be sold on this. I don't know a ton about it, but I'm definitely excited to pick it up. Then I have The Men of Cascade Mountains by AJ Alexander. Yeah, so this is an author I met at a Polycon. I ended up buying a physical of this book that I'm actually probably gonna do a giveaway of. And so, no, not this one. I bought a physical of this one and gave it to May. I bought books by this author to do a giveaway with that are not this book. This is her Mountain Men series, and I've been wanting to read Mountain Men. My bestie just read a whole bunch of Mountain Men while we were at a Polycon, and I'm just like, I need to dive in, so we're going to dive in at some point. Then I have Little Sips of Sin, checked out by Cleo Evans. This is her Monster Cafe series. This one is MMF, has a matchmaking barista. I don't know a ton about it. I kind of enjoyed the first one. We'll talk about it in a minute. But I knew I would definitely want to continue the series still because they all have really unique kinks, and if there's one thing I love, it's reading books with kinks that we don't often see on page. And I know Vor is listed. Don't Google it, but Vor is listed. If you know, you know. Don't Google it. Then I have A Soul to Keep by Opal Rain. This is about a world where a human is always offered to a demon in order to protect the humans from carnage every 10 years. And this follows Rhea, who is seen as a bad omen, and Cursed, who is offered to this demon Orpheus, who just wants a companion. And this sounds like a pretty cute Grumpy Sunshine situation potentially, and also a really interesting I'm misunderstood situation, because they're both very misunderstood and I am a sucker for that. Then we have Tease by Melanie Harlow. This is another one where the TikTok ads got me. I actually got May over at This Past Romance to read this one for me before I even read it. And I need to read it because it sounds really cute. This follows 2 friends, and one of them is a billionaire. And he agrees to fake date her to go to their high school reunion because she has this weird rivalry with this girl, and it's all about their fake relationship, which of course ends up as more. He's maybe always been into her, it sounds like. So I'm very curious to see how that plays out and where that goes, but it just sounded really adorable in my opinion, and had a fun, like the way she was selling it sounded really funny. I'm hoping for a good giggle when I read it at the very least. Then we have Beauty and the Baller by Isla, I don't know, Mills Madden, whatever her name is. This is an NFL player turned small town football coach and a former beauty queen. They had a really bad one night stand a few years ago, and then he moves to her small town, and it sounds like the moms are pushing her on him and trying to hook him up with someone, and they decide to fake date. So I'm curious. I don't know where this is gonna go, but I'm curious. This one also on KU includes the audio, so I was like, cool, we'll pick it up. Then I have Muscles and Monsters by, oh my gosh, who is this by? By Ashley Bennett. I love this cover. I've had this one checked out for since like May as well. She's a bakery owner, and then I guess starts working out with this wolf. And you know what? It sounds fun. They have a great meet cute. It sounds like where she like accidentally runs into him while she's like holding a baked like cake situation. So I'm sold. Also the next one is like tentacle related. So I need to read this one so I can read the tentacle book. Then we have My Funny Demon Valentine by Aurora Asher, which I am working on, Morgan. I promise you. I'm 40% through this, and then I got distracted by all the other things I had to read, and I need to come back to it. But this is about 4 demon brothers that end up in the world. The first book follows a brother who basically no human recognizes him or acknowledges his existence or sees him, except for our heroine in this book who does. And this was just been really, really cute so far. I do need to return to it. Like I said, I got distracted by other things. So that's where we're at on it, and I feel bad because I'm enjoying it. I don't dislike it. I just need to actually like return to the book. So yeah, it's really interesting so far. Then I have Her Revenge by Jade Presley. This is the sequel to Her Villains, and with how Her Villains ended, I need to prioritize this one for my TBR because this is one of those ones that I am just loving. I loved the first book. It is a wide shoes Marvel inspired romance. We had a Loki-like hero, we had our Captain America hero, an Iron Man, Tony Stark hero. I cannot remember the other one, but it was really interesting. It is 4 brothers. No, there's no sword crossing, obviously, because that would be weird. But the book ended with quite a bang, in my opinion, in book 1. So I really want to pick up book 2. And see how that ends. Then I have Origins by Charlie Nottingham. This is another author I get on my TikTok a lot, and she writes a lot of fantasy romances and paranormal romances. This one is a Fae angel romance, which is why I'm curious about it. I've not read a ton of angel romances. I also believe this is a slower burn romance, and the series is now so if I like it, I can just finish the whole series, and I like that idea. Next, we have Sweet Berries by C.M. Nakasta. This is a Mothman romance. This is the second book in the Morning Glory Milking Farm, but actually the first book she wrote in the series, and I'm really excited to dive in this. It's actually my members pick for August, and I will be done with it very soon. I'm actually diving into it literally the week this is going up, so I will be done with it before we know it, and I'm very excited about it, and it's definitely going to be a fun time, and I'm hoping, you know, I'm expecting sex pollen. I'm hoping for some sex pollen. We'll see. Then we have That Time I Got Drunk and Yeeted a Love Potion at a Werewolf. That title is so long. I'm always like, you have to get it right. This is by Kimberly Lemming, who I adore. I absolutely loved. That One Time I Got Drunk and the demon one. Oh my gosh, see, this is what I mean. I keep the titles. Anyways, they're very fun. I've read a little bit of this one, and I need to go back and finish it. I really, really enjoyed what I read, but again, I got distracted by all the other themed things I had going on in my life. So we will be returning to this. Then we have Mafia Mistress by, oh my gosh, what is her name? This is by Mila Finelli. This is the first book in the series. This is one that has been beloved by many of romance readers that I know. And this is where she's supposed to marry his son, and he decides that he wants to marry her instead. And thus that is what happens, and it follows their relationship. So we're gonna have age gap and just what sounds like a delightful time. So I'm really excited to dive into this sooner than later. And I think it'll be a fun one to just see how it plays out. Then we have Puck Me Secretly by Odette Stone. This is one I also this fall really want to get to. I'm in the mood, gonna be in the mood here for some hockey romance, football romances. This one is where the plane is crashing and they're sitting next to each other. She admits she's never had an orgasm, and he says that if they survive, he will fix that. He fixes that. They go on their merry way. Oh no, we work at the same place. He's on the hockey team and she works for the hockey team. Love it. Very excited. Then we have Love and Monsters, which is by Raven Flanagan. This is one I got wrecked also on TikTok that sounds like an amazing monster romance. So she goes for a run. The character, her name's Mina, and ends up going through a portal to a different place and is supposed to be the pet of the lord of the city. Well, there's someone else in the dungeon she ends up with in who is a monster, and he likes blood. And it sounds like there's some blood play here, perhaps primal, I'm hoping for. I don't know a ton, but I was just like, I need this. Immediately, I need this. So, you know, I'm a monster lover at heart at the end of the day lately, and this sounds right up my alley. Next, we have Sinful Vows by Asia Monique. This is a black mafia romance. Pretty sure they're both black, but I'm not positive because I've not read the book yet. But I'm really excited to see a black author writing mafia romances with black characters. At the very least, the hero is black. This one follows a mafia princess and a guy she's supposed to marry, and their fraught relationship of figuring it out. I do know there are some content warnings here on this one for sex trafficking, allowing her to beat him up, and also, just as a note, I did see a few of my friends call out some like small typos and stuff, which is fine by me, can deal with that. But if that's not your thing, don't read it. But Heather over at Booktubes talked about this one, which is why I'm picking it up now. Go figure. All right, y'all, it is time to talk about the 12 books I read in Kindle Unlimited for this update. All right, first we have Nemesis by Liza Pinn and somebody else whose name I cannot think of for the life of me. But this duo writes this Marvel-inspired series. This one was Fallon and Lily, and it was 3 stars. It was mediocre, I would say. I think the first story was better than all of them, which was Vision and Wanda, basically. I don't think I really recommend these. I know some people that have enjoyed them more than I did. I felt like they were almost, I think I would have rather them been fan fiction, full on, than be something adapted to be published, if that makes sense. So that's where I sit. Then I read The Dark One by Nikki St. Crow, of course. This is the second book in the Vicious, the Lost Boys, whatever that series. Why can I not that series out? Anyways, this is the second book. 5 stars, loved it, delightful, great sequel to Never King. The new one comes out soon. I will have my arc this week. This vlog goes up. I cannot wait for that arc. But if you liked the Never King, you're gonna like The Dark One. And then their Vicious Darling comes out at the beginning of September, so get hyped. Then I read Her Villains by Jade Presley. This is the book that has a sequel that I've checked out. This I gave 4 stars. This is another Marvel-inspired romance. I did a reading vlog where I read some Marvel-inspired romances. I gave this a 4 star. This is another Why Choose. It is a fantasy romance. I really enjoyed this one, and I think that if you like fantasy romances and you like Marvel, you would probably also enjoy this one. It's not like super heavy-duty like fantasy, but it's got a nice balance happening. Then I read Railed by the Easter Bunny. This is by Delia Davies. I need the full length immediately. Comes out in September. I cannot wait. The first book is a really great quick novella. It's weird and delightful in just the ways I like. It is also monster romance, and it involves like more pagan gods. And I do want to give a quick content note. We do have domestic violence, and she goes and makes a deal with an old god to get out of her situation. And that old god happens to be the mother of the Easter Bunny, to which she has to bone, and his jizz tastes like marshmallows, because what else would it taste like? Then we have Again by J.L. Seegers, which I really liked. It gives 4.5 stars. This is a second chance marriage, which seems to be her like jam, and I appreciate that because not enough people do this. This is a black love book, and it also features a couple that were married, had some issues, and then broke up and are now on a trip to their siblings' wedding in Tulum, and it follows them reigniting the flame and clearing up some misconceptions. Content note for implied cheating that doesn't actually happen, so just know that ahead of time. Then I read Haunting Adeline by H.G. Carlton, which I gave 3 stars. I did not like this book. It's honestly like a 2.5, maybe a 2. I wanted to love this book. It felt like a kind of dark romance I would enjoy. This is a stalker dark romance, and it had the potential to be really good, but I felt like the plot was just too ridiculous, but not in like the fun way, just like in an annoying way. And I felt like it played too much on many of the fears we see circulating today around human trafficking that are really inaccurate and false. And though it is fiction, and I can obviously separate reality from fiction, sometimes when these things are put into books, it does lead to people over interpreting things in life and correlating them too much, you know? And it just didn't work out great for me. It was a little too drawn out and like very predictable at the end of the day. So there's that. They do bone in a haunted house, which was kind of cool. Didn't hate that part. Or a haunted house, a mirror maze, a fun house maze thing. Didn't mind that part, but it just like, I don't know, played too much into some QAnon stuff for me. Then I read Silent Night by Evie Mitchell. This is a Roy Keeley fanfiction basically that got published. This is a 4-star for me. I loved it. I loved this so much. This follows her going to Alaska from her native country where she's a princess because some things happened and she has to go into hiding, and he is her dad's former bodyguard who she's always been attracted to, but just things happen. There's only one bed, Alaska, you know, in hiding, bodyguard. It's just got like the perfect mix, and it's a very quick read. Also has Sexy Christmas if you've watched Ted Lasso, so keep that in mind. Then I read Little Slice of Hell by Cleo Evans. This is the first book in her Creature Cafe series. I give this a 3.5. It's an interesting monster book. It was very Insta-love, and when I read it, I didn't realize how Insta-love it was, and I wasn't really in the mood for that. So I don't always hate Insta-love, but if I'm not in the mood for it, it's just definitely not something I want to pick up. I do like how the matchmaker worked with the barista, like at the cafe and stuff. I thought that was really interesting. And I will be continuing the series because, again, they have really unique kinks, and she does a really good job of listing them in the description. So if you're curious, definitely go page through them. But it just didn't work for me at the end of the day as well as I wanted it to. Then I read Starfucker by Callie Decker. This I'm getting a 4.5. I really, really liked this. There are just a couple of small things I didn't love about it, so hence a 4.5. This follows a celebrity in his 40s, and the screenwriter for his latest movie, she's been making eyes at him the whole time they've been filming. And at the wrap party he approaches and they go bang it out in an office in the back of this restaurant bar thing they're at. And that just leads to them continuing this relationship that ends up being like really kinky and fun and enjoyable to read. And it kind of has a little bit of different beats than your usual romances, which I really appreciate and enjoy. It felt refreshing. It felt different. She's 36. So that was also nice. We had older characters, like they're not old, but they're older than what we often get in our romances. And I loved how their relationship went and how they played with different kinks throughout the book. It was just really fun to read and watch them figure it out. Then I read Daddy Bod by Margot Scott. This is a quick just Kindle novella that features dad kink. I'm giving it like a 3.5. It's not terrible, but it just has something off about it for me. It wasn't bad. Like, I picked it up because she's a cam girl who gets kicked out of her house. She's like 18. Her parents kick her out because it's mortifying and embarrassing that she's doing this. She's not even like getting naked. She's just like in lingerie reading smutty books to pay for her college. And she has like shitty family and stuff, like a really bad stepmom and not the best relationship with her dad, I would say, which is part of what leads to her getting kicked out. She ends up moving in with this guy, Jonathan, who is 46. She's 19. And he finds out what she's doing and starts spying out all of her sessions, and it's this slow build of a romance with them, kind of like, not super slow because it's a short book, but a little bit slow. It's one of those ones that if you want a quick novella to read before bed and you were into daddy kink, I think you would enjoy it. Not my favorite, not my least favorite. It was just okay. Then I read A Crescent Spell by Zoe Abrams. This is the Howl's Moving Castle book I had not shut up about. This has full-on Howl's Moving Castle vibes. We have Briar, our main character. Turns out she has magic. She didn't know about it. She gets taken by these magicians because she gets tied to them. We have 3 magicians. We have Ian, Calvin, and Avon. We get little callbacks to the movie Howl's Moving Castle that are absolutely delightful to read. I really liked how it ended. We kind of have a character, Briar, in the beginning who's very unsure of herself and figuring it out. And then by the end of the book, she has to go through some things and is very sure of herself and like figuring it out, and I really liked that. And then it ends on quite the cliffhanger, but not like a bad one. Like, I'm impatiently waiting for the sequel, but I'm not mad about the wait. Does that make sense? So I'm excited to pick that up. And last but not least, I read Thunder Thighs by Evie Mitchell. This is a 3.5 for me as well. It's a cute, very short novella about a really curvy lady who gets made fun of for her thunder thighs, and the joke, she needs a Viking god to come have sex with her because of her thunder thighs. A man gets stranded on the place she's at and comes to her bar because his boat's engine broke down. They hook up. It's a fun time. It's a great little smutty novella. So, like, you won't be disappointed. But yeah, overall, good time. Really enjoyed these. Those are all the books I read from KU recently. Let me know in the comments the last book you read from KU and loved or hated. I would love to know if you hated something recently. That's always interesting to me. And then if you don't want to do that, leave me a moon emoji of your choice in the comments, and I will have links to all these books in that description box for you, as well as links to my friend anywhere on the internet, and I will talk to y'all in just a few days. Bye.
Already packing, come with me. I'm not really asking. We'll get away to a place where we don't know. About to see the world in action, what we can be. Life with no distractions, we'll get away.